welcome to our pre-show. This is Tech Down Over, and today we've got with us Patrick Santucci, who's in charge of public relations and some of the Western area sales duties for Sigma. So we're going to be starting the show in about a minute. We're just going through our shots right now, making sure all our audio levels are good. And did we lose Jeff? No, there he is.
No, I'm still here, hopefully. I am still here, am I?
You were so quiet, Jeff. I went, he's gone. Yes. He left. He hopped off.
I just didn't know whether you'd muted me and remembered to put me back on.
No, you're good. All right, so let's start with the Jeff and me shot, and we will get the show rolling. Okay, so we're good? All right, so let's start the show in 3, 2, and 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. Today, joining us is our co-host, my good friend, Jeff Blanchard from the Land Down Under. Agent Blanchard, 00 Blanchard. How are you, Jeff?
Good, thank you, Rick. I actually got my cameras out last week. We had an early show that we never did, so I got out the crack of dawn with my camera, so it was a good
oh, that's good. You got out and had some fun. Yeah, we had a problem with that, with the NDI, the Network Device Interface for the new vMix. And we almost had one today. Well, actually yesterday, but we found we have a bug patch that we have to put on after these shows. We didn't want to do it before the shows, but we know what's going on. And today we've got a great guest coming to us from Sigma, and I'm a big Sigma lens fan. In fact, I put one on my 5DSR right now. So let's get the show started. So here's our intro. We're back. I always forget how short that little intro is.
And as always, Rick, the best subject we like talking about all the time is cameras.
Cameras,
and lenses.
Gear, and lenses. And today we have with us one of our favorite lens companies. They do a great job. I've got at least 3 of their lenses, if not more. I'm actually selling one of them, but that's not their fault. I got rid of my Nikon line, and I'm stuck with the lens. I go, oh, man, I love this lens, but that's not one of the ones that gets remounted. And I went, oh no!
Get it remounted.
It was the 70-200 art lens. I love that lens. But anyway, I'll be buying it again soon. So anyway, we got with us. He is he's got Western Regional Manager responsibilities for the Western region in the United States, as well as in charge of public relations for Sigma America. With us today is Patrick Santucci. Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
I'm really glad you could make it. And, well, here, in your honor, this is my Canon 5DSR, brand new. I just got it about a week ago. Love this camera. It's exactly just like my old 7D Mark II in terms of body. Mm-hmm. And I know people with 5D Mark IIIs to say it's the same too. So very easy camera to get to know. And I've got my Sigma on it, the one I had with me today. I also had my 18-35 Sigma, but that's for the APS-C sensors. Yep. So I brought this one instead, and this is the 24-105, the one that Canon wishes they made well, but unfortunately you guys make it a whole lot better. And this is a beautiful lens. This thing is so darn quiet. Today was the first time I actually shot some video with it, and I was going, it's not working. I hear nothing. There's no tick, 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 nothing. I didn't hear a thing. And when I came back, I go, this is all in focus. This is cool. So this is nice. So now I've got another video lens I didn't know I had.
Yeah, I have a lot of videographer friends that use that for that use.
Oh, I'm surprised how quiet and nice it was. This is great. And you guys have been doing great. Tell me a little bit about what Sigma's been up to and some of where you're going.
Yeah, well, in the last 5 years, it's been a very interesting transition with our global vision line. So our art, contemporary, sport, we changed up our whole process. Every single one of those lenses is tested before we ship. We use premium quality products, and it's been really changing the industry as of late. This last few months, we've been doing a big push on our new camera, our SD Quattro. This is our Foveon sensor. It's our newest DSLR. I actually have a copy right here. So this is our latest camera. So we've been doing a big push on this guy. It's beautiful technology, and I love shooting with these things.
That's good. You know, I forgot Sigma made cameras.
Yeah, I actually even have the first Sigma camera that's ever made. I think this is 68, 69.
Yeah.
Around there. So we've been doing it for a while. As of 2008, it's all Foveon technology, which is like the panchromatic sensor.
Yeah.
So it's very unique.
That sounds great. Well, if you ever want to send one our way for a review, we will review it. We'll give it an honest review. We like doing stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that sounds really cool. I've been working a lot with the Canons. I'm mostly a Canon shooter, but I had Nikons. I had a full frame line of Nikons, and I sold it. In fact, last week I sold the last of them. And I was going, why did I do that? I mean, I like the Nikon. It was really good. The sensors are good. I still have, the only thing I have left right now is my Sigma 70-200, which is an awesome lens. That thing's a beauty. And that's the one I wanted remounted, and they said, that's the one we don't do. I went, oh, shoot. But that's okay. I'm planning on a couple of other Sigmas very soon, like the 50mm. I've been looking forward to that one. That's another beautiful lens.
Yep.
And the 24-70, I think you have a 24-70.
No,
it's the 50-100.
24-70 art lens. Is that the one?
That's not an art lens. That's our EX line. So that's our premium stuff before the Global Vision lineup started coming in.
Now there's a new. I think it's brand new. The 50-100.
Yeah. That's the 18-35, like Big Brother. So that's APS-C sensor. But it's a 1.8 from 50-100, so if you're a dedicated APS-C shooter, it's an incredible portrait lens.
It is. That sounds like a really good. I mean, it's got a great range of it. The 18-35 is interesting because it is a short focal range. You go from 18, you're at 35, but in essence, you've got 3 primes in there.
Yeah. The sharpness is. Every time you open an image from one of those lenses,
they look nice.
Yeah.
I know. I've shot with that one on my 7D Mark II and my 80D. And it is beautiful. Now, it's interestingly enough, that 18-35 on an older 70D doesn't work well. The focus is very, very slow. But you put, when I first got it, I went, uh-oh. And then I tried it on the 7D Mark II, perfect. It is super fast. And on the 80D, super fast. So something must have changed in the sensors on Canon at that point, or the way they handle autofocusing, because as soon as you get off the 70D, it's beautiful.
That's because I shoot with a 70D and a 60, and it's very fast with
Really? Maybe I had a problem with mine. That's the only one I had trouble getting it to focus quickly. The other ones were instant. The same lens, just different cameras. It was perfectly fine.
Well, so you can use our USB dock. It's $59, and you can update the firmware. It could be a firmware update that needs to be done, but you can also fix the focusing and calibrate it accordingly to your camera.
That's true. I never tried that. I just went to another camera. I said, I'm going shortcut. But after I switched to the 70 Mark II and then again the 80D when I got it was perfect. It was absolutely right on. And just very clean images. Actually, all the Sigma, I don't think I've ever had a Sigma lens that just didn't look really, really good. With this one, which is the 24-105, I was shooting, this is the 5DS R version, and it shot perfectly on this. This is the 50 megapixel camera.
Yeah.
I was zooming in on one of the girls that works with us, and you could see every eyelash hair perfectly on it. I was going,
wow. You can
wow.
get into trouble for that, Rick.
No, she agreed to be abused, so it's okay. It's okay. She ignores me most of the time. She's like, he's just taking pictures again, leave him alone. He gets bored after a while and leaves. So, but, I always have this kind of joke that you guys, now I think the founder of Sigma passed away and then the son took over, and that's kind of when everything shifted in terms of the amount of quality, and that's when all of your pretty amazing lenses came out. But there was something interesting that corresponded to Fukushima. Right after that happened, well, I am convinced you guys got imbued with incredible amounts of brilliant radiation, because the stuff you guys are coming out with is absolutely gorgeous. And the only reason I said Fukushima, for those who don't know, that's where the headquarters are.
Yeah.
And man, just
our factory was actually not even affected too much.
No, most things weren't. There's a lot of bad media about that, but no. In fact, I don't think you guys were. I don't think there were any evacuations or anything for that, from what I read.
And a lot of our material that for the lenses are sourced locally around our factory.
Okay.
So we avoided a lot of conflict because of that.
Right. So you've got the new DSLR. Is that a full frame sensor?
No, that's APS-C.
APS-C.
We do have another version of the camera coming out, and that's an APS-H. So it's the 1.3 crop factor.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
On resolution testing, we're getting it up to about 50 megapixel Bayer sensor.
Really? That's great.
Yeah, so they're very easy cameras.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
So Patrick, is that the SD Quattro?
Yeah.
Is that one? Because I've been hearing a lot about that. So what's so great about that one that's coming out? What's the main points about that?
So it's our latest DSLR. The other one was the SD1, which used our Foveon Narrow generation. This one touts the new Quattro sensor, and it has a whole list of new features. It's a weatherproof magnesium body, new viewfinder now, and it toggles between the monitor and the viewfinder. New autofocusing system. So it's a whole list of new improvements for our DSLRs. And it's a mirrorless system as well. So, and a lot of people don't know about our cameras, and this is true of our SD1. But in the front right here is a little filter that you can actually. My lighting in my house is not too good. You can actually pop off this filter in here, and it shoots infrared. It's a nice little feature.
Yeah. Okay. When you lift it up, we can probably see it better.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
there
you go.
Yeah, so there's a little filter you can pop out, and it shoots infrared from there.
And that doesn't look like too heavy a camera either.
No, it's not small, but it's quite lightweight for the size. And the ergonomics on these things is so interesting. They're very fascinating.
Now you mentioned it had a special kind of sensor right at the beginning.
Yeah. So the Foveon sensor is a panchromatic sensor that we use in our camera. Basically, it absorbs detail on every pixel location rather than skipping pixels like the Bayer sensor.
Okay.
So it doesn't use an anti-aliasing filter either, so the resolution's higher. So it's fascinating technology. We have the guys in Foveon is based in Santa Clara, California. They're doing prints with these cameras up to 7.5 feet tall, even though it's an APS-C.
Really? That sounds pretty good. So how is the lens, not lens market, but how is the camera market going for Sigma? It sounds like, I haven't really looked at Sigma in a long time from camera point of view. It's funny, you go to the camera stores and of course they're pushing Nikon and they're pushing Canon and Sony, everybody pushes Sony. But Sigma it's always had a pretty good offering on cameras.
They're specialty cameras. They're much like shooting medium format more than anything. You have to be, since the process, you gather so much data from these sensors, processing is not as fast as most cameras.
Right.
What they are designed to do, though, is your image quality. It's just, you can crop at 100% and you can pick out every little detail.
Wow.
So, our camera market's not huge. We don't sell many of them. It was the founder's dream to be a camera company as well as a lens maker. So Kazuto, the new CEO, is continuing this, and we're fully dedicated to photography. So we think it's important to offer these into the market for people that are looking for something different, unique. So again, we don't sell many of them, but we do use, and this is part of the global vision line with our lenses. We take that sensor, and what we do is we use that to test every lens before we ship. And what that allows us to do is pick up any defects or anything like that before we ship. And then, it's really upped our quality control in the last 4 to 5 years.
Oh, I can vouch for it. Of all I think I've got about 4 Sigmas, and they just feel good. You hold them in your hand, you shoot with them. They're fairly quiet. I don't hear their focus motors all that often. And every so often, I'm literally just thinking it broke. It's not working anymore. And then I look and I go, that is absolutely perfect with no noise. That's pretty something in today's day and age. The Canons are sort of like, some of them are quieter, but a lot of them are pretty darn noisy. And so these are actually quite fun to shoot with. And the result is also the picture quality is super crisp.
Yeah. It's interesting because when we tested every one of these lenses before they ship, we actually record all that data before it leaves Japan. So if a lens ever comes back to us, for calibration or people don't think it's sharp, we actually use the data from Japan and compare notes. So we're constantly trying to improve on our lenses as well. But yeah, I mean, every little detail on these lenses is taken care of. If you look at, so this is our 150-6 Sport.
Yes. Nice.
If you look at the white in the panel, like the autofocus switches.
Yeah.
Those are all hand painted in Japan. Every little detail is taken care of.
You also get a weightlifting practice with that one, don't you?
Yeah.
That's a nice lens.
At 6 pounds, I hike with it a lot. And
That's is that autofocus?
Yeah, autofocus, stabilization, the whole 9 yards. It's fully weatherproof, so it's great. It's great here in Oregon.
Nice. Oh, that's true. It's pretty fast too, right?
Yeah.
Is that an f4?
It's 5 to 6.3.
That's not bad. That's for that focal range. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
so it's pretty sharp.
It's incredibly sharp. If you look up the image samples that are out on the web right now, you'll see it's priced at $2,000, but it's a full metal construction.
That's not bad.
Fully weather sealed. We actually have 2 versions of it. The second version is 2 pounds lighter and uses a high grade plastic rather than metal. It's $1,000. And it's the same focal range, same f-stop and everything, but it's more aimed at being lightweight and portable.
Okay.
That one's great for enthusiasts trying to get into photographing their kids' sports games or getting into photography or anything like that.
Yeah. How fast can you shoot with that one? It's just pretty much whatever the camera can handle.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Now, I was looking at the Sigma blog the other night, and there's some pictures from William Beecher doing with all the Sigma pictures of all the trains, and it just fascinated me, just the quality of in one of the shots, it just looked so good. It looked like a toy train set, but it was real trains. It was just incredible, the shots that came out of that.
Yeah. Train photography is very interesting. It's a new market that we've it's not a new market, but it's a one that we're kind of approaching again. There are some pretty hardcore train followers now.
As long as they don't stand on the tracks to take them.
That's not recommended, yeah.
No. So we was talking about I got confused. So what's the difference with your art lenses and the other lenses? What makes them so different?
So the art line tends to be large aperture lenses. We do have zooms and primes in the category. The sports, like this 150-6, is aimed at being, the fast telephotos with great reach. And then our contemporary line is, when I explain that, it's the best way to explain that is just, it's for consumers. It's more lightweight, portable, but we don't sacrifice image quality. Our goal is always image quality. And then the second, aspect of the contemporary is portable, lightweight, compact lens.
Would you say right now the art lenses are the biggest sellers?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's been a big just roar about how good the art lenses are, and everywhere I've seen blogs and reviews and everything, correct me if I'm wrong, but everyone loves the 50 millimeter art lens. And it's a beauty. It's only, I think, $950, and it is gorgeous, and it lets in it eats light for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's nice.
It's a beautiful lens.
That's on my list.
I remember when the 5DS and 5DR came out.
Yeah.
I had a lot of media requesting that 50 millimeter to test with that camera system.
Okay.
And it also goes back again to that Foveon technology. It's a high resolution sensor that we're testing these lenses on.
Yeah.
So before the 5DR, 5DS came out, we were already creating lenses that match up with high resolution sensors like that, like 50 plus. So you get every little detail, every little. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I experienced that today with just the 24-105, which is not a prime, and you could tell, it's just a tad softer than a prime, but it's pretty darn sharp in terms of what you get. And again, a quiet focus engine, and the 50 millimeter. I've seen it at the store. I haven't bought it yet. It's on my list. That's coming. It's just a beautiful 50. It's not that heavy. It's bigger than. It's probably about as big as this one almost. I think that's an f 1.4.
Yeah.
1.4. Yeah. and it's stabilized, which is, I think, wait, is it stabilized?
No, not the 50.
But you don't need it. You shoot pretty quick. It's pretty good. You usually don't need to stabilize a 50. And I shot with it at the store, and I was just going, wow, this is nice. But I only had like $8,000 on my card, so that was next. So I had to hold off on that one. I got some other lenses in the meantime, but and I think I bought an extra camera. But these things are great. They just shoot beautifully in every which way. What do you see coming up as far as any kind of new lenses, or what are your best sellers that if people are looking for specific lenses, they should definitely go look for?
Our best sellers tend to be our 35 and our 50, and you'll even see it in the rental houses like Bar Lenses or Lens Rentals. The companies that do rent out those lenses to people, they're like one of the biggest turnarounds. Okay. So people rent them and they're immediately going out to buy them. Honestly, my biggest recommendation with people is if you are in the market, head to a camera store that's a dealer of Sigma and play with the lens. Get a feel for it, because it's really when you hold it, you put it on your camera, you get a few shots with it. That's when you really see the true potential of this gear.
Now, you run pretty well on all the cameras, on all the ones that support. I know on Nikon it runs well because I've had Sigma lenses on Nikon. It runs really well on the Canons. What other ones do you support that you run pretty either native on or with a converter?
So we do support some Sony A mount. There are some Pentax mounts as well. It's pretty limited though. It really depends on market share. But we do have the MC11 adapter, which allows you to put your Sigma lenses on your Sony system. Oh. So your Sony A7, your A6300, you can now use your Sigma lenses on.
Okay. That's pretty. I saw somebody doing a review on that the other day with, I think, a Sigma 50, and they were just, I can't remember who it was. Slipping right now. But it was really tick, 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 tick. You could hear the beep, just instant. And that was with that adapter, and I believe it was the 50, and wow, it was just clean.
Yeah,
and the guy was talking about how clean the images were coming out, the sharpness. He was comparing it to the Zeiss Otis lenses, going, it's a lot less money, and this thing looks damn good. So that's always a kudo.
Yeah.
And the things we've always said, Rick, is the investment in lenses is always good investment, because cameras come and go, but the lenses, even with new technology, you can put a lens on if it still fits a camera. Like some of the old ones, they might not have had autofocus, but they still give you the look that you're wanting. So it's always a good investment, lenses.
Oh, it's amazing. I've met a lot of photographers, some of them pros, who will buy an expensive body and then they cheap out on lenses, and I just kind of shake my head and go,
it should be the other way around.
Kind of got it backwards. I mean, you can have a so-so body and put a great lens on, and your so-so body now becomes pretty above average. I don't know. Some people are just penny wise, pound foolish, maybe. But the lenses, ever since we started buying better lenses, and actually we started buying the best lenses after we started going Sigma with the Art series, and that was probably about 3-4 years ago. And we noticed a huge difference, just in the quality of what we were putting out, and so we didn't need a lot of convincing. After that, we went, "This is a good way to go." Definitely.
They're priced really well. We don't have huge marketing budgets. Our goal is a small factory. A small staff, large factory. So a lot of money that's made is put right back into researching new lenses and finding ways of keeping the price down, while at the same time providing a product that you can rely on, that is going to give you better image quality.
That sounds great. Well, you've got the new camera that just came out. You've got a couple of new lenses. I think you mentioned the 50-100, which is the APS-C sensor lens. Actually, really, with that 12-35 and the 50-100, you pretty much have everything, don't you?
There's a few gaps I'd like to see. But we'll see what the future holds. I wish I knew, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's good. We're looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Patrick, if anybody wants to get a hold of you to find out more about Sigma or to discuss whatever, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Email's the best. I travel quite a bit, so it's hard for me to answer the phone as many times as it rings. But email at psantucci, Santucci at sigmaphoto.com. Shoot me an email. I'll be happy to answer any questions or concerns. And yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, Patrick, we really appreciate you coming on. And that's interesting. I didn't realize how you were testing the lenses with your own sensor. That's interesting because, again, having just got this 5DSR, I've been testing with the lenses I have that are, for example, EF compatible, and every one of them is just clean.
Awesome.
Absolutely clean. The pictures are coming out somewhere between 28 and about 40 pixels. I mean, megapixels. That's not bad. Meaning I'm getting full use of the sensor on that, because very few come out with 50. A lot of people think you have a 50 megapixel sensor. Every picture is going to be 50 meg. No, it depends on what colors you have and everything else. But I think I've gotten as high as 40 on some of these, and that's high. That's with a lot of colors in there and just a lot of detail. And when you zoom in afterwards, it's actually pretty amazing the level of sharpness. And by the way, handheld.
Yeah.
When they say, "Oh, this is only a studio camera," and you can't, no, that's not true. You can still, if you're good enough, if you know how to shoot, and you're stable enough, yeah, you can. This is not bad at all. And with your lenses, like I said, it works well. And I've tried this on my other, the 7D Mark II and the 80D. It's just beautiful. Well, on those, it all works really well. So, well, we really appreciate you coming on, talking a little bit about Sigma, the great stuff you guys are doing, and we wish you guys the best. And seriously, if you want us to do a review test for it, we'd love to. I think it'd be great, because that sounds like a great camera, too.
The thing is, I find, Rick, with a lot of cameras, people are too obsessed with this 50 megapixel, 40 megapixel, and some of the cameras, like see in that new the new Sigma one, they don't have to have a high megapixel sensor, but what they do with the image gives you a better quality than a higher megapixel camera.
Yeah, that's right.
It said some of the high megapixel cameras will give you a worse quality than some of the lesser ones, but
that's true.
All depends what you do with it. And I believe like this Sigma Quattro, it's got lower the megapixels than some, but the equivalence, it says, comes out much higher. So I always say give the camera a try. Don't just buy a camera on spec, because that doesn't make you any better. It's just what it does with the image that it does take. So
that's true.
Always have a good look at the camera and the lens, of course.
Well, I always sort of laugh at how everybody goes crazy about low light. That doesn't go to past ISO 6400. How often do you need to go past ISO? I mean, seriously, in real life, I don't know.
Goes to ISO so many million, but that's pitch black with just a little shadow. You can't use the image. Who cares?
I know, but I can do it. That's all that counts, right? I just wonder sometimes. I go, low light's nice, but more often than not, we're shooting low light in probably a city, and there's a lot of lighting around there to make things look nice. You don't need to go past usually 16 to even 3200 starting to get kind of noisy and just bright, really bright. I've gone with some of my other cameras, like my GH4, and said, go out into a city at night at 6400, and you're looking at daylight, and it's noisy. You don't need all that much.
I'm definitely going to have a look at that new Sigma Quattro, because, as I said, they've always done cameras over the years in which people, like I said, tend to forget. They just think of them as lenses these days. But
that's true. By the way, Jeff's in the market for a new camera. He hasn't bought one in a couple of years, so he's not kidding. He'll look at it. Trust me.
I'll have to connect you with our Australian counterpart.
Yeah, and then if you can get the things with the Sigma lens where you can get them remounted as well, if you change your mind for different things, that makes it twice as good.
Well, a lot of them do remount. It just so happens the one I got didn't. That 70-200, I guess, had a special. I imagine it's firmware that's specifically for Nikon's difficult. They don't work with anybody else.
So for the remounting, it has to be one of the art, contemporary, or sports lenses.
Oh, okay.
So the older EX stuff won't remount.
No, I thought I have a 7200, one of the newer ones.
It's still EX though.
It is still EX. Okay.
Yeah. So it's got to be art, contemporary, or sport, but then you can remount.
My mistake. When I got it, I didn't pay attention. Is there a 7200 that's art? No, not yet. Okay. You know what? For EX, like you said, if that's the lesser one, it still shoots darn good pictures.
Yeah.
I thought it was art, so much for me.
That's what I call bread and butter lens. That's how a lot of people make their money with 70-200, 24-70. That's your staple kit.
And you're not taxing your wrists or arms carrying that big Canon 7200, which weighs about, 7-8 pounds. And actually, the reviews I've seen of some scientific reviews, the Sigma's sharper. It's sharper, has no vignetting per se, and at f4, f5, it's exactly as sharp as the, twice as expensive or 3 times Canon. So that's again, kudos to you. That's some awesome lens technology there.
It's a wonderful company to work for, and we're dedicated to photography. We're always trying to introduce something new and change up the industry a bit.
Yep, that sounds great. Well, again, Pat, it's been a pleasure having you on. We look forward to seeing you another time, and continued great success with Sigma. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And if you're watching the show, please subscribe and leave us your feedback. We look forward to hearing from you. We'll have Pat's information and more on Sigma in the show notes. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.